I must have a story. Well, I felt so unqualified. Oh my gosh. Where do I start? How do I start? Why should I start? Immediately, there was just fear all over me, and I was overwhelmed with that blank page in front of me. The writing process was slow. I did rough draft after rough draft, and that was just the first paragraph. And then I realized it wasn't about putting words down, but it was starting to unravel parts of me that I had not explored. There were moments when memories resurfaced. There were joyful ones and quite painful ones. I questioned how much of myself am I really willing to give? What began as a hard task blossomed into a journey of unexpected growth and change for me.
Hey everybody, welcome to Finding the Upside. I'm your host, Maria de Lorenzo Reyes. Welcome to this special podcast series starting today, Real Women, 7 Minutes of Transformation. These presentations were recorded at the Revive and Thrive Summit that we had last year. Each episode that you're about to hear is a part of a larger collaboration. It's a collective of women who came together not just to share their story, but to create something meaningful together. These conversations are the foundation of an upcoming collaborative book project that we're launching later this year. Every woman featured in this series is a contributing author to that book. These episodes exist to share the moments that change us and to remind you that your story matters more than you think. Let's begin.
Have you ever had an idea and it just stayed an idea? I have thought of many meaningful projects for people, but they never got done. One in particular was for my son that was going off to college. And I thought, I'm going to make him a little book of quotes, and it would just inspire him and for each day. And so, and I included one, or I was going to, please wash your sheets. But again, Gabe is now 44, and he still has not gotten that. In my early 60s, I became a part of a group of women online because I had isolated myself as a caregiver. I was challenged in many parts of my life, but felt especially challenged when they asked me to write a chapter of my life. I actually never even thought that I could write anything because I don't have a story. Everybody else's is so impressive. And then I thought, if I shared, I don't want my friends to know about this. So I must have a story. Well, I felt so unqualified. Oh my gosh. Where do I start? How do I start? Why should I start? Immediately, there was just fear all over me, and I was overwhelmed with that blank page in front of me. The writing process was slow. I did rough draft after rough draft, and that was just the first paragraph. And then I realized it wasn't about putting words down, but it was starting to unravel parts of me that I had not explored. There were moments when memories resurfaced. There were joyful ones and quite painful ones. I questioned how much of myself am I really willing to give? What began as a hard task blossomed into a journey of unexpected growth and change for me. I was writing through things that I had not fully processed. There were moments that shaped me. They built me. They broke me. I wrote about challenges I had buried under busyness, about lessons I had learned the hard way. Somewhere between those sentences, I found peace with my past. I did ask for help. This was a collaboration, and there were many of them that had written before, so they did help me. But And as I did, I became more courageous. After my first draft, though, it was not accepted. And I was a bit defeated and I almost gave up. But then I became determined. I honestly didn't even care if it got published, but I was not going to quit. Writing the chapter forced me to be honest, not just with the readers, but with myself. That honesty was freeing. I started to see patterns in my story, places where I had grown, places where I needed to heal. I discovered strength that I had downplayed, resilience I had forgotten, and a voice that had been waiting patiently for me to use it. The transformation wasn't just emotional, it was spiritual, mental, and even professional. For the first time, I saw my story as something valuable, not something to apologize for or to even hide. I began to understand that our stories do not need to be perfect to be powerful. They just need to be real. Writing this chapter in this book also shifted the way I saw success. This process showed me that success is all about courage. It's about choosing to show up when it's uncomfortable. It's about your story can make a difference, that it is powerful no matter who reads it, and if it only touches one person. After the book was published, I was pretty enlightened at how people accepted my story, especially my family. They saw another side of me they had never seen. And they just was amazed that I hurt inside myself for so many years. What they saw was courage, determination, adventurous, and that I was so loved by many people. I knew that was all there, but really never believed it until recently. So how did writing the chapter transform me? It taught me to trust my voice. It helped me to heal wounds that I did not know they were still open. It connected me with others in the most human, authentic way. And it showed me that our stories, though raw, messy, real, are powerful. To anyone out there who's sitting on a story, wondering if it's worth it, yes, it is. Not only because others might need to hear it, but you might need to tell it. A few weeks ago, I was visiting with a young girl that I had mentored many years ago. She was bulimic, suicidal. She had a lot of abuse from family. And I hadn't seen her for years, and we got together for lunch. And she said, Tricia, I almost took my life again 15 years ago. And for some reason, I was spared. And I want to make a difference in people's lives. I wept inside as I saw her arms scarred from cuttings. And I thought, her story needs to be told to give other girls some peace that they have never known. Well, transformation doesn't always have to be in grand, dramatic moments. Sometimes it happens in the quiet hours at the keyboard or with pen and paper. When you yourself give permission to be fully seen and heard, it's in those unassuming moments where you confront your truth, embrace your voice, and allow yourself to exist without apology. Transformation begins when you decide you are worthy and worthy of being known by others, but most importantly, by yourself. By the way, I never wrote that book for my son, but I have a little granddaughter, and I've already started making a book of quotes for her. One quote will be, never run out of toilet paper.
Thank you for spending time with us. Every story you've heard in this series is a part of that larger collaboration, this collective of women who came together to share their real experiences, real growth, and real transformation. Again, these conversations are the foundation of our collaborative book launching later this year. If something in today's episode resonated with you, let that be an invitation to reflect, to get curious, and to consider what part of your own story may be ready to be shared. You'll hear more about the book as we move forward and each episode launches. And you'll hear more about the women behind it as well. Until then, thank you for being a part of this journey and for honoring the power of real stories.